Namaste everyone. Today we are doing face to face as well as online. As today is Mahashivaratri, so happy Mahashivaratri to everyone. I'm not sure how much people know about Mahashivaratri. I can say it is the night of Shiva, but or day of Shiva also. So just to remember the Shiva in us, that's what I feel it means. You can worship Shiva external as a idol. You can go to temple. That is very easy. Or keep a fast. Or do some bhajans. But if I say you are that Shiva, recognize that truth on Mahashivaratri, it becomes difficult, isn't it? As long as we think we are the body, we are individual, for us God is a separate entity. Remember the Shiva within you all the time, not just on Mahashivaratri day. Mahashivaratri day, I believe, is a day which is an auspicious day, and when you meditate on that, it will unfold in you. But if someone says that remember Shiva on Mahashivaratri day, it doesn't make any sense. That means rest of the 364 days you are not remembering him. Some days in calendar have their own power. And when you deeply contemplate during those days as well, that energy manifests in you. This is the benefit of it. I don't think there's any other benefit than that. But if you are remembering all the time, whether it's Mahashivaratri or any other day, it unfolds in you. We were talking just before now starting face to face as there are people gathered. Like people worship. We worship by body, by doing rituals. That is a very good thing. Better than that is worshipping from your mouth, doing japa, or taking the name of God in different ways, bhajan, prayers, kirtan. And then superior than that in that sequence is manan, contemplation, meditation on him. When the mind becomes so ekagra, ekchit, focused, then comes the ultimate path, which is the end game, from duality to non-duality, from jiva to Brahman, from person to only pure presence. And that comes with self-inquiry. When you question this one who was doing worship from the body, japa from the mouth, meditating on an entity. When you are so much focused, ekagra, then you can bring all your energy to question, who am I? This one question can end this whole game of an individual. Because I've seen people worshipping some god, some goddess all their life, starting from the age of 10, 20, 80, 90, 99. Then next birth never ends. It is only when you become mature enough to do self-inquiry and question this entity which keeps playing its role in worldly matters as well as in spiritual matters. You know, so many religious organizations, temple, mosque, all these organizations, there are millions of people involved. How many are enlightened? Today, millions and millions of people will be going to worship Shiva in temple. Do you think all of them, when they come out of the Shiva temple after worship, they all will be enlightened? Or maybe 10% or 1%. Problem is that we keep our ego intact wherever we go. Whether we go to temple, pilgrimage, whatever we do. This karta, this doer has to go. This bhokta who is enjoying, this enjoyer has to go. This has to be questioned, otherwise this entity called ego, there is no end to it. Whether you are spiritual, whether you are celibate, whether you are a vegetarian, all these things have no value. This karta has to go, this doer has to go. You have to question, who is the doer in me, who is doing all these things. Question that entity. When we deeply question that entity and we keep questioning, as long as we feel any individuality in us, it slowly fades away, it disappears. The strength of this entity is our thoughts. It is only standing with support of thoughts. No thought, no ego, no word, no individual. Doesn't matter good thought, bad thought, important thought, unimportant thought, invited thought, uninvited thought. It doesn't matter. If thought is the problem, then what is the solution? Solution is the silence within us. But how many of us know this silence? Have we experienced this silence? Is there any time in our mind when there is no thought, only silence? Or can we palpate, can we experience this perpetual silence which is going on in spite of thoughts, in spite of bodily actions? And this God in us or Brahman in us, which is observing everything in this silence, uninvolved. Can you be that? Can you see everything from there rather than from ego? Can you move back? Contemplate on it. See, when in a group of people, when everyone is trying to prove their point, can you just watch that within you there is some entity which also wants to prove its point? But can you keep quiet? Can you watch it? Even if it is in action, can you still watch that entity from which you can see all this bodily drama happening, and you know the deficiencies of this body, how it acts, what it does? That is the first step of realization. When you start noticing habits, intentions, actions of this mind-body complex, because now there is some opening in you from which you can see all this happening. When in a spurt of moment, when we are really angry, something has happened and you can't control, and you in anger you say something, there is no gap. That is why whatever done or said in anger is dangerous, is harmful to you, to others. Anything done in haste, in very without giving a break, can be wrong. In Hindi they say jaldi ka kaam shaitan ka. Anything which is done quickly is a work of devil. So try to see if there is a gap between whatever this body, this mind is planning, doing, acting, thinking. Can this all be observed? If the answer is yes, then there is a possibility of self-realization. Then there is possibility of having Shiva in you, Shiva manifesting in you. Then there is possibility. And for that, what is needed? Your solitude, some space in you. Some people love to be busy, one work after 10 jobs, 10 positions, more busy, and they feel proud of it, and everyone says, yes, you are good, it's good to be busy. What happens? One day you are found as a dead body, and because you love busyness, next birth you become CEO of a big company and you're ultra busy. If that's what you love, it's okay. But if you are a seeker, then it's not good for you. It's not about the work. It's about questioning who is working through this body, observing, trying to stay as an observer, not reacting on everything happening in life. It is our habit. We go to a restaurant, whatever food is given, we always find some problem or some deficiency. Or if we really like, then we keep going to the same restaurant every week. Aversion and addiction, we believe in these two things. We can't stay neutral. We can't stay witness to things. Who is a sadhu? Who is a realized? Who is happy with whatever the circumstances are? Good or bad is only in your mind. There was a saint in Tiruvannamalai, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar. He lived as a beggar. He lived with all sorts of scoundrels and thieves and people staying on the streets. Doesn't matter. He was in his own bliss of self. He never moved from there. His purity stayed unaffected in spite of whatever was around. and see how we get affected if we are in a company of, sansari, worldly people. Our worldly attachments becomes more, our old tendencies come back again, and we get again drowned in it. We all carry energy in the body. When that energy leaves, then the body is called as dead. You can call it prana, you can call it that divine energy. That energy has no color in itself, but when energy is picked up by the mind and used to indulge in senses, we start losing that energy. So the brahmacharya, celibacy, so many people take it as celibacy, not to have sex. That's what they think, but that's completely wrong notion. It is about not allowing energy to go through any sense organ. No sensory indulgence. Then that energy moves up. You can say opens your kundalini, or you get into this self-awareness mode. Otherwise, an individual will keep losing energy. We earn money, we work hard. They say work hard and play hard. Both, I believe, is wrong. Because work hard for whom? Who is the doer? For what? To earn money, to earn name, to earn fame. And then who is earning name, fame, money? Who? Who is that entity? Is that entity you want to make bigger? These questions are valid only for seekers, not for worldly people. That's why we can speak here. But not in community you go to, they will throw you away, because this is counterproductive. These things, people will think that we are not bringing progress to the world. But progress to the world? You see, mental health issues are an epidemic right now because everyone wants progress. When you have all the gadgets and you are unhappy, is it progress? So, working hard is not wrong, but doership is wrong. And then play hard, what play? Which play are you talking about? Indulging in senses and losing all energy because now you need to spend that money to be happy. Every smart seeker will understand that all these sensory pleasures give some pleasure, some joy, but then you have a dip, and which is deeper than where you were before. So you become like a pendulum. Either you get addicted to that or you look for other indulgences, and it's a non-ending thing. And finally, when you become old or you don't have means to get those senses, you are helpless. And then all sorts of thoughts comes to us, which increases our suffering, nothing else. But if we pay attention to this observer, that pleasure comes to us without doing anything. And this pleasure has no side effect. And this pleasure we understand first time that we are that bliss. We don't have to depend on this body's sensory organs to make us happy. Once you get onto this, you hook onto this awareness, at least this much of intellect we all have, that we stay there. Because without working hard and without playing hard, we are happy, blissful, contented. without doing anything, without even moving a finger. But a person full of Rajasic mindset cannot understand. Even in Bhagwan times, people couldn't understand how he was sitting in a cave and just staring in nowhere. He was not staring anywhere. He was just established in his self as self. He was Dakshinamurti. Someone shared a book written by that author from Hyderabad. He wrote Bhagwan as Dakshinamurti. Why you have to say that? He is Dakshinamurti. The one who is abiding in silence is Dakshinamurti. And good news is we all have the same internal structure as Bhagwan, as Dakshinamurti. When we go within, we will find the same. We will have the same discovery. Your mind can be different, but your self is the same as Bhagwan, as Shiva. That self is unchanging reality. If you get something different on self-realization than Bhagwan, then there is no point in looking for it. I pray that everyone who is looking, seeking to know Shiva in them gets it on Mahashivaratri. I think this is the most important thing, I believe, nothing else. Whether you have kept a fast, you have gone to a temple, you have done something, that's immaterial. But if you are longing for that and you are remembering and you are contemplating on it, then Shiva will manifest in you. Mind is a movement, always moving, looking. But the moment you start observing as an observer to everything, the stillness of that observer will be noticed to you, which never moves. They say God is watching you. Then you become that God in a way, isn't it? Because you are watching that ego. You are watching the mind game. Then you become God. You are the one who is watching. Look, if you stay as ego and you keep doing and the God is watching, then God can only follow the law of karma for you, nothing else. He never comes in front of you. If ever he comes in front of you, it is only the mind's projection. But he watches and he gives as you deserve, whatever you deserve. But the moment you recede, you start observing. It is a profound change in you. The doership goes away. With doership gone, there is no personal desire left. And this doer is the one who thinks I am the body. I am the body idea gone. All sorts of sensory indulgences are gone. It doesn't mean that you would not like to have the food what you love, but you're not running for it. You're not dying. The rust is gone. Good things will taste good. Nothing matters whether you get it or not. The bliss stays the same. I would say in witness, in observer mode, probably you enjoy more because you're not after anything. But whatever you get, it is a gift. See, Bhagwan all the time used to say when he got the first gruel, which was old and he was given the first food he got. He always says that I was so happy. I knew now the Shiva, the Arunachala has accepted me. Well, people like us can say, oh, after so much of penance, I only got that. I was thinking about Chappan Bhog. So this is the thing. It is how you take things. Even you get this much, you feel so humble that I got this. Or you can be a billionaire and you think, oh, still you are too far from being the richest person. It is just the way how that observer effect, just staying as that witness, makes a big change in us. That all egoistic tendencies start dissolving. And anything which is left, it appears as if you're living in a glass house. They are so open, so clear, you can see them. Nothing can hide from you now. Give all your attention to this energy rather than I've not done this, I've not done this is left, this person is saying like this. See if you can take out I from your thoughts. If you can do that, you have won the battle. Because most of the thoughts are with this I, me, mine, they, you, this. Whenever something happens, the mind starts judging that situation, bringing things from the past, comparing with that this person behaved this time, last time, now he's behaving this, so maybe he has some motive. This is the way the mind starts playing. But if there's no storage on which it can go, then it sees everything as fresh. Then you can't say it is that mind which takes you into the past or future. It is just some intuitiveness which helps for the work to be accomplished. So this mind becomes the one without any container, without base, nothing, it doesn't hold anything. So it's always empty. And in that emptiness, Shiva manifests. Shiva cannot manifest when there is ego, when there is individual residing in this body-mind complex. Make a habit to spend time with your own self. Whenever we have free time, we want to kill that time by calling someone we have not called for last few months, or watching a movie, or doing something unnecessarily. We want to be busy with mind. Because for mind to stay alone without doing anything is full of anxiety, full of too many thoughts and crazy thoughts. During COVID times, the people who are very social, they went through severe anxiety and depression. And they look very normal. If you see them around, they look normal, they're happy, everyone thinks they are the best people. They are best for everyone, not best for themselves. They can't tolerate themselves. They can't enjoy their own company. That is why they're looking for others' company. A sadhu loves his own company. He doesn't care whether there is someone with him or not. So most of them, they move to forest or caves or Himalayas. To know self, we don't have to do too many things. We only need interest in it. Whether you call it God, you call it self, Atman, Brahman, doesn't matter. People who are really indulging in everything and getting some pleasure out of it, for them to come out is most difficult. But someone who had some tragedy or some feeling of depression, unhappiness with the way things are around us, it is easier for them. Sometimes I feel some sort of suffering, misery, anxiety, not liking the way things are. It's easy for them to move out, to have vairagya, dispassion. Any type of loss, smaller, bigger, gives you a shock that not every time everything happens according to our ego. But I wish nobody gets through any suffering. It's good to know and have interest in truth without any suffering. They say you take one step, God takes 10 steps. But one thing I will say, that you take interest in it and it unfolds in you. If you call it a practice, then it is a constant practice throughout the day. You wake up, when you interact with people, when you're alone, whatever has happened in life, whatever is happening, staying impartial, neutral, not supporting you, not supporting anyone, not supporting anything, allowing things to happen as they are happening. Understand that most of the things what we get upset, no one does it to make us feel upset. It just happens because we deserve those things in that way only. You go to a restaurant, you are served wrong dish, or it's not according to your taste or whatever. They have no plans that you will come and then they will serve you like this to make you unhappy. They want their business to be going well, but it is you. You deserve that. Same thing about good things also. You deserve it. You means this body. So leave body on its own destiny and you stay as an observer and see how much blissful you will be in spite of even when things are not going right in the mindset of ego. You will be so happy, so blissful. And another thing happens. You gain wisdom. You start realizing shortcomings of your own body also. That it it was not behaving well. It needed this type of treatment. See, in Bhagwan's case, once Bhagwan was walking on the hill and he decided to go to a particular place where I think they say Shiva stays like a Siddha under that big banyan tree. And then he was going through, and then his leg hit a bush. On that bush was hornets. And they started biting Bhagwan's leg. And he left that leg for them to bite as much as they want to bite and became swollen. And when he came back, he found his own mistake. He said, why was I interested in all these things? I was the one who went there and hit their nest, and then they did the right thing. Now my leg needs to be punished. It was punished nicely. Who thinks like that? People full of ego would have kept going, rather than coming back. Anyway, so all this life of Bhagavan is the greatest teaching to all of us. To understand how we think, how Bhagavan thinks, where we are and where we have to be. And who is Bhagavan? If I ask you, who is Bhagavan? In this waking dream, an entity has come to bring us back home. That's all this Bhagavan is. Nothing else. It's your dream, waking dream. It's your mind's projection in which he is there and satsang is happening. And that, I believe, is grace, I was invited today for Mahashivaratri at someone's house, and their family for a couple of generations is Bhagavan devotees, and this gentleman was telling his mother has met Bhagavan and she was going to Malaysia and she went to Bhagavan, can I go with my husband? Her husband was a doctor and Bhagavan said, yeah, you can go. So what I'm saying is that 3 generations family devoted to Bhagavan, and they were saying we have met people in Tiruvannamalai who don't even know about Bhagavan, who've never been to other ashram. So it is just grace, it is kripa that he came in our this life. And that is the purpose of his coming in our life, is to bring us back home. To give us this profound teaching by which all of us can establish in the Shiva. This is the power of contemplation, when you contemplate on truth all the time. If it is there in your mind all the time, mind has no escape to go outward, and it merges in this energy. So silence is more powerful than any thought. People have all this notion about positive thoughts and influencers who tell you how to think. But no one can win in front of that pure silence of Dakshinamurti, of Bhagavan, of Shiva. All our impurities will disappear if we also become devotee of the silence within. We are this silent awareness which has superimposition of body, mind, intellect, feelings, this word, people, objects, everything is on it. Start identifying yourself as pure awareness. Because even when we are watching something, seeing anything, the mind is active, it reports, but there is this awareness which is also watching. If the mind is not there, then awareness is always there. Without awareness, the mind cannot function. What happens in deep sleep? Deep sleep, we are not aware. Is our mind aware? No. Without awareness, mind cannot function. Awareness is that first principle, what we all are. Though mind is subtle, but it's part of the matter. Mind can be measured, thoughts can be known, thoughts can be captured by instruments. Sometimes we do something and we have no clue why we did it, and we say our mind did this, I had no control. I don't know why I did this thing. And we repent. But if we have this gap of pure awareness, then even before any intention of any type comes into the mind, it dissolves. In the fire of self, all these petty desires, thoughts coming out of mind, nothing sustains, nothing stays there. Some people put it like that, that when the God is with you, nothing can go wrong with you. That is very true. But if you know that God within you, you stay in that satsang of your own pure self, then mind cannot play tricks. Mind can only play tricks when we are not awakened, when we are not alert, when we are not vigilant. That is why more crimes occur when people are drunk or on drugs. But this ego is also a big drug. We are drunk by ego. Ego is also toxication. We see people around us, some are so much toxicated with, they're hungry for power, hungry for name, hungry for money. They can destroy others, they can kill others, they can kill their own family members for it. Addiction of drug or addiction of alcohol can go away or can be treated, but addiction of ego is so difficult to treat. One thing which helps is your company of pure people, people who are humble, nice, God fearing, practicing, spiritual seekers, saints, realized beings. If you can't find that company, then best is to keep looking company within you, that pure self, Shiva. It is in all of us. Best friend, best company. Leave aside all type of thoughts and go deeper in your own inner silence and be there always. No need to move from here. No one can move you from here. Abide in yourself, pure self. Realizing that you are the truth, you are reality, you are Shiva. Everything starts from you and ends with you. When you open eyes, the whole world is there. When you close eyes, the whole world disappears. Give up individual identity. It might give you some sensory pleasures, but eventually it will take you to death. You will pay heavy price for your indulgences and then born again in a womb, going through all sorts of suffering, unending. This time, this moment, realize truth. and become immortal. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Mahashivaratri to everyone.